Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Monday, the 12th of August 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 finished up 0.5% today to 7,814 points, with information technology and consumer discretionary stocks doing best. The former reflects what happened on Wall Street over the weekend. The latter reflects the confidence the JB HiFi result gave investors. Now, JB HiFi today announced a 16% drop in underlying profit, but it was better than analysts expected and its share price surged 10%. WiseTech Global was the best of the large caps, ending up 2.5%, but it had plenty of friends: National Australia Bank, ANZ, Wesfarmers, Macquarie, Goodman Group, Aristocrat Leisure, QBE, they all closed up more than 1%. Rio Tinto, Fortescue Metals Group and REA were among the worst performers of the large caps at least. Beach Energy's share price fell 12%, after it downgraded reserves at a field in Victoria that started up only 2 months ago. It was the worst of the top 200. Best was Tabcorp. It was up more than 10%. Story number 2, Federal Parliament is back, and whether the Albanese government is helping or hindering rate cuts is going to play out in the run-up to the next election. The election is due by May next year, and today Prime Minister Anthony Albanese maintained that Labor is helping the Reserve Bank in its fight against price pressures. He added that inflation has halved since Labor came into office. He also defended his government's cost of living plans while criticising the coalition's own economic credentials. And Treasurer Jim Chalmers has accused opposition Treasury spokesperson Angus Taylor of desperately wanting inflation and interest rates to push higher for his own political advantage. We're going to hear lots more of this over the next few months. Story number 3, rail haulage group Aurizon has announced a 25% jump in annual net profit and will spend $150 million buying back shares, but it didn't meet its growth target for the network and coal businesses, and the result was below expectations. As a result, its share price tumbled 9%. While the coal business did well, the consumer goods transport business isn't doing so well, with Chief Executive Andrew Harding saying the containerised freight market is softer than industry would expect. He blamed inflation and higher interest rates. Aurizon has primarily been a coal haulage company, but it's pushing into soft goods, particularly along the East Coast. The group's share price is off 14% this year. Story number 4, trade unions are making inroads into the big miners, with BHP being forced to the negotiating table and Rio Tinto under pressure to do the same. BHP will need to negotiate under recent industrial relations changes introduced by Labor, despite assurances that the laws would not affect the sector, according to a report in the Financial Review. The move has already drawn the ire of the Minerals Council, whose chief executive, Tanya Constable, said it was the start of a union power grab. Before the changes, unions would have had to establish that they represented most workers before BHP and Rio were forced to negotiate with them. Brad Gandy, the Australian Workers' Union State Secretary, said wages and conditions for iron ore miners were not as good as many people thought. Maybe. We checked. Government agency Jobs and Skills Australia estimates that the median wage in the mining industry is $2,452 per week. That's about 60% higher than the overall median across the economy. And story number 5, foreign investors pulled a record amount of money from China last quarter, likely reflecting deep pessimism about the world's second largest economy. China's direct investment liabilities in its balance of payments dropped almost $15 billion in the April to June period, marking only the second time this figure has turned negative. It was down about $5 billion for the first 6 months. If it continues for the year, it would be the first annual net outflow since at least 1990. That's when data began being collected. We've heard lots of stories about foreign investors pulling out of China and putting it into other regional assets, like Commonwealth Bank shares. This is the first half of that story in numbers. The fall comes despite Beijing's growing efforts to attract and retain foreign investment, according to Bloomberg. The government wants to show it remains open and attractive to foreign business in the hope that companies will bring advanced technologies and resist pressure from the US and elsewhere to decouple from China. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 12th of August, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. The top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.